All right, see if we're back. I saw a massive dip in viewers. So I thought something might be up. If you're just joining now, you missed all the best parts of this. Sorry about that. That's what happens sometimes. Sometimes things just they go a little sideways. But that's what we do. You get through it. You don't stress, you don't panic, cuz all you have to do is just restart things. One of the things too is because obviously we're always on Wi-Fi and stuff like that, but one of the things that I want to change with the setup here at the in the studio is hardwire all this. Hardwire my internet connection. So hopefully that will prevent any dropouts and stuff. Thanks for anyone that's hopping back in here. I know it's getting a bit later if you're Eastern Standard Time. Where were we? I think it dropped out. I was thanking Larry for stopping by the merch table because he's much appreciated. Yeah, anyone that got booted, I think it was more me. I think my internet just cut out for a second, so must be some mad Netflix streaming going on upstairs. What were we talking about? Where did we leave off? I got another 15, 20 minutes. I need to get some background music or something. Find some non-copyright strike background music. Where did we leave off? I need someone to refresh what you heard last. Oh, while I'm sitting here, I got a message from management today. More specifically, Bob Hathaway, our radio quarterback. He was saying best mistake was at 45 on Mediabase today in the States for hard rock songs and Cindy collaborations. Okay, got it. I'll get back to that in a second. And it was 41 on BDS. There's two kind of chart reportings. There's BDS and there's Mediabase. So yeah, we're 45 on Mediabase, which is pretty awesome. And we're 41 on BDS, which is pretty awesome. So hopefully we can get a couple more spins and crack top 40 because that's kind of where the goalpost is for a lot of bands and taking things seriously. It's like if you can grab top 40, like you're in pretty good shape. And for a band from Canada that cannot tour right now and really can't tour at all right now down the States. So Brendan's saying closed captioning corrected booted to Buddha. You know what? If that closed captioning can do a pretty good job understanding what I'm saying, so I'll take it. I was trying to trip it up by saying happiness a bunch of times today. I didn't go for it. So yeah. Again, appreciate everyone that's requesting Best Mistake, their favorite hard rock radio stations. They do here. One of the best ways still is on Twitter. It's just tagging your radio station, please play or thank you for playing Best Mistake. They do check that stuff quite a bit. Radio stations are definitely on Twitter. Dream collaborations. Okay, yeah, back. We're saying again, there's a lot of bands I don't want to ruin, so I wouldn't want to mess around in their kitchen. Just let them do their thing. But yeah, Hives would be one of them. I love how they write their stuff and put it together. Gorillaz are another one of those bands that I love a lot of the stuff that they're doing. It's difficult because there's a lot of rock bands and hard rock bands where I just don't want to get in the way. That being said, I'm a huge fan of the first Slipknot album. I would love to get in a room with that camp and just be like, can we just try to capture that lightning in a bottle again? Because not to say you haven't made some good records since then, but I'm just there's just something to be said about some of the stuff that kind of happened on that first record. If we could just go and get in there, I could maybe help. Some ideas out there. Pass me an acoustic guitar or something. It'd be good. Mike Jones is saying, when are you gonna go to Ringo and sing a couple tracks? I don't know. I keep offering it up to the guys. If you want to let me sing some of my songs on stage, but they just when we're putting the set together, we never seem to have space in the set for some of my originals I could sing. So I'll let you know though. You'll be the first. You'll be like the second to know because like I'll be the first to know, sort of thing. So, Mike Jones, if you're into knives, custom like super wicked, awesome knives, um, endorsed. I don't want to say actually technically endorsed, but lightly and loosely endorsed by Joe Rogan. Check out Mike Jones Knife and Tool. Check out his knives. They're super awesome. You can just cash at me later for that plug there, Jones. I think we're good. Kelly's saying don't listen to radio anymore. I hate radio stations. Play the same stuff over and over. I just hit shuffle on Apple Music. I don't hear the same thing twice for weeks. That is the thing. But you have to keep in mind most people that are listening to the radio are not listening to it 8 hours straight. And if they are, generally it's because they usually have their own music for stores and stuff. But I know a lot of people that do use playlists at work. There was a not to go dear bands on stuff today, but there was a thread that I was kind of following. They're talking about streaming doesn't pay enough and the royalties are bad, and like I'm not disagreeing with it, and also the thing too, it's like streaming royalties, especially with Spotify, like it cut by 75% last time I looked. I was shocked at how low it was. We got our payment in a couple of weeks ago, or last week. But it's like I don't think of streaming platforms as a revenue source as much as I figure it's like a discovery platform. Because Kelly, when you're listening to playlists, there has to be a time when you hear something and you're like, what is that? And you hear it again, you're like, what is that? And you hear it again, you're like, I need to see who this is. And it gets your attention. You can go check it because you're probably on your phone or your computer or something. So you're just a couple clicks away from actually seeing who the artist or band is. That's worth more than complaining about a couple, half a cent or quarter of a cent per stream. That's worth way more to get a new fan or a new listener in, or someone that's hooked. So I see both sides are good. Like there's definitely upsides to getting on the radio and charting and getting support from the radio stations and the interviews. And there's just a lot of things that help with radio. But at the same time, there's a lot of upsides to playlists and as far as discoverability for music fans. Kelly's saying it's how I find new music and TV shows and movies. Exactly. Like that's where we kind of go for new content these days. I speaking of big movies and TV shows, it's like I look forward to when you just like a big movie doesn't need a bunch of hype behind it anymore. It's just like boom, new Star Wars movie, or like boom, new Marvel movie or something like that. And there was no big lead up to it. It's just like here it is. It's on Netflix or on Amazon Prime or something. They're not thinking about like we need to put this in the theaters. It's like there's other ways to make money off that. Obviously not as the same revenue source right now with the way theaters are, but that's kind of the new way. It's like if you might be interested, they can just hit you right over the head with the advertisement where you're going to look at it, which is your phone or your computer or however you're watching stuff. Brendan saying I've been using Spotify a ton. It's like the thing that's awesome about Spotify is pretty much every artist you can think of's got their full discography on there now. So it's like real talk, full disclosure. It's like I hadn't listened to Tool since like the Anima days. It's like the name of the record. Like 10,000 years or 10,000 days. It's like I didn't really hear that. Lateralis, I didn't really hear that, but because it's all up on Spotify now, it's like when the new record came out, I could just kind of start. I think it was 10,000 days or Lateralis. I could just start there and just let it play through and just listen to everything, and I got pretty good. Believe it or not, I've got pretty good setup at home to listen to music, so it's nice just listening through the stuff. So. Brendan's saying I resisted for so long, but it's actually an awesome way to find new. I agree. It really is an awesome way to find new music. The related artists, I think, are similar artists. Like I go down that rabbit hole often, and I just see a band, I'm like they look cool, or they got a cool name. I click on it. I'll look for the song that's got the most plays, and I'll click on that one, maybe the second one, or something in the top 5, or I just listen through for a little bit. Granted, full disclosure, I don't listen to the entire song all the time. I just want to flip through some stuff. I'm just curious, but it's just it's awesome knowing it's all there. And like, I know we love our CDs and stuff too, but it's just like, it's awesome that like the entire history, more or less, of music can just be carried around in your pocket, and you can kind of listen to whatever you want anytime. Brendan saying they took away some albums recently from Nine Inch Nails. Well, they're gonna do that sometimes. So, so you say me too. Best decision made when I signed up for it. That is the thing too. Like it's worth, if you want to help musicians. Because I've said it before, I think Spotify is gonna win. They're gonna be the Netflix. As far as downloads went, they're going to be the iTunes. But do invest the $10 a month into Spotify or Apple Music or whatever you want to use, because like that the streaming subscriptions does help. And most of the time the bands get paid a little bit better when the listens come from a subscriber. Don't quote me on it, but I've seen a couple articles they do talk about that one way or the other. Looking through the comments here. Saw a comment here. Kelly saying, or in the case, it was a follow request from Reed, and then Googled his older stuff and found Tense Machine through that. Exactly. No, that's one of those. That's one of those things too. It's like to even backtrack with the My Darkest Days connection. Because I remember when Dead Set was getting going, and we were talking about like how much do you want to lean on the My Darkest Days stuff, because obviously it's relevant to the history of everything, but at the same time it's like it's a new band, so like how much do you want to go back to that? Obviously My Darkest Days had a huge hit, so it's like you still want to use that as kind of the way to get the door open sort of thing when you're talking to people in the industry. But out of My Darkest Days, obviously Matt went to 3 Days. 3 Days doesn't need help raising that ship sort of thing, but like that the help he got from Matt kind of getting Dead Set going, and then also like out of My Darkest Days, you had Cold Creek County with Doug's band, you had Smashing Satellites with Sal's band, which is now Bonzamara. Like there's just a lot of things that all kind of came, and then and then Tense Machine formed, and then Reed's got his soul stuff going right now, so it's like all of that discoverability between all the projects and stuff, like that helps everybody. So the fact that you can go into Similar Artists and see the other bands that are sitting there, or bands can tag each other and kind of, not to say like pass fans around, but you can pass new ears around easily these days. So it's like there's a lot of upside to these platforms being able to quickly find new music. So Marguerite saying found Tense Machine through Reed and only a whole album on Spotify and some other playlists. Love the album. Best thing I ever did was joining Spotify. See, the system works. The system works. You can find new music. Kelly said I didn't even find about My Darkest Days till after they disbanded. Well, that was, yeah, and that's one of those things too. It's like My Darkest Days, I know Brennan can probably correct me on it, but it's like that was close to 10 years ago now. So it's like that was a while ago, and it's still getting, boatloads of streams, and it still gets a boatload of traffic and stuff. And just to think, if we didn't have these streaming platforms, like you probably wouldn't cross paths with it. And if we didn't have, like, it's just so easy to get access to music these days. So, Brandon's saying, I hear this a lot. Yeah, no, it's again, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Napster. If you want to go back to it, like, as I remember being 14 and having Napster and LimeWire and downloading bootlegs for bands and stuff, and just thinking like, this is awesome. And then when like legal streaming showed up, which is basically like 6 years ago, like this is super awesome because now I can just get what I need and not need to dig around and destroy my PC computer trying to get music. Any other questions? I wanted to go over the pre-sale stuff. I wanted to go over the radio stuff. I feel like I've fulfilled my obligations for what I wanted to set out and do. Sorry again for the dropout earlier, but that's going to happen sometimes with the internet. We've had weird weather here too. Not to blame the weather. And I was giving Day in the gears because he legit had weather issues on Sunday. He's like, it's not good. The internet was like fully out at another place. I'm just like, I know, but what are we gonna do? Kelly's saying to look for similar bands on Apple too. No, it's a great rabbit hole to go down for music fans. Like there's so much. It's just right there. So guessing you guys are awesome though, real cool guys. You know what? When you're hanging with Dane, it's easier to be cooler by association. Dane's cool. Not saying Brandon's not cool, but like we can both agree like Dane's the cool one of the group. Any other questions? I think I got time for one more question. Kelly's saying I'm a musicaholic. That's a tough one to. It's a tough one for people like me to say because I mumble a lot. I have to be very mindful when I'm talking on here. Cindy saying I heard about Dead Set through my boyfriend and Fizzy. Do you mean Chizzy or do you actually mean Fizzy? Chizzy was part of the MDD camp. I then met you all in person in 2018. That was during the Fozzy tour. Yeah, it was Fozzy tour. That was a fun tour. There's a lot of stories on the Fozzy tour. A lot of stories. That'll be a chapter in my book alone. The Fozzy tour. Kim's saying Dane is an old soul. He very much is. He's like an old soul, like the mindset of like a toddler at times. Like one of the ones like the mischievous toddler, but like in an adult body. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that can go either way with Mr. Hartzell, depending on the situation, environment. But we love him. We love him. I could probably write a book about Dane too. I think after the last 10 years. Now we're talking about Dane being on the cover of novels, the cover of book. I think I could write a book about Dane. Brendan's saying no, Dane is cool. I'm pretty lame. Brendan's not lame. Brendan's. I think the term is Brendan's his own. It's his own cat sort of thing. Brendan does Brendan things. So. So he's saying dream concert set up with which artist to support Tense Machine. Dance Machine's not headlining the Dream concert. I'll be blunt about that. It's hard because like I can say Dream concert because in Dream World you can do whatever you want. But in like Dream World concert land, it's Tense Machine. It's Audio Slave, and it's Foo Fighters. I just think that'd be a fun evening of music, and also like selfishly, it'd be fun because you'd get probably the best seats in the house for one of the best rock concerts. That would be going again in Cornell. Just don't feel weird saying anniversary of his death recently, but yeah, again, Dream concert. That's probably what it would be for me. Tense Machines first of three, Audio Slave second. Foo Fighters closing it out with 2 hours straight of hits and laughs. I gotta get going soon. I see. What is Dane's musical history? I think this is a good one to close on. Dane's musical history is he's fired me 3 times from his band. You can ask him about that. Just never let him live that one down. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. This is the Wednesday Night Groove. Again, Brandon and I are going to be alternating on these Wednesdays to kind of hang out and, not say it's kind of show and tell period, but, hang out and answer some questions and let's chat for a bit. So yeah, Brandon will probably be next week, but sometimes it might be both of us. You don't know. You don't know. It's going to be mystery. Well, we're going to alternate, but like we don't know if the other person's going to show up sort of thing. So always remember Dane's got Sundays at 6. 6-ish sometimes, but Sundays at 6. I'll play some songs. If you have any songs that you would like him to potentially cover, any requests, definitely throw that into... we'll probably have a post up soon to try to get a place to kind of put some of those ideas together. So if you got any songs you'd like to hear Dane play, keep that in mind. Cindy's saying you were influenced by music since you were younger. Yeah, I have a musical family. It was always encouraged. not to keep answering questions, but it was always to encourage my family. And I think that that's a big thing with all of us. Like we didn't have people telling us to shut it down or, and dare I say, people that were kind of in our lives that may or may not have said like, when are you gonna get a real job? We quickly ejected them from our lives, sort of thing, because it's you chase the, I don't want to say chase the dream, but like you embrace the lifestyle of being creative or making music and stuff. There's a lot of ups and downs for it. There's a lot of play in the hand that you're dealt, sort of thing. But we all have supportive families and partners. So we're just in a position where we're able to do this. We're able to get up and go, and when we're able to go tour and just make this stuff work. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like and leave comment there. If you're just watching on Facebook, I guess we'll see you on Sunday. Shameless plug, I stream gaming on Thursdays as well, so you want to hop over to my gaming page and ask some more questions and hang out, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8:30. So all right, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you stopping by our part of the internet, and we'll see you next time.